Hello there, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Chris McKay, and I'm happy to have you along today. Hey, have you noticed that your food bill is climbing, but you're still buying the same amount of groceries? Well, you're not alone on that one. My guest today says there's nowhere to hide from rising cost of food, but you can do something right now to freeze the cost of food from stealing even more of your hard-earned paycheck. Plus, he predicts that we are headed for a food shortage crisis as the demand for food increases globally and supply decreases. I have Steve Shank in the studio with me today. Steve is the co-founder of eFoods Direct, which is the premier global supplier of storable food. He's also one of the country's foremost authorities on agricultural projections, trends, and conditions as they relate to the food that's on our dinner tables. And for the past 30 years, his company has helped thousands of people become more secure and more confident with their greatest dependency, and that's food. And you won't want to miss this show because he's going to tell you specifically how you can freeze the cost of food and ensure its continued availability. Steve, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be here.
You know, I want to get right into this. You are really known for changing the way that we think about food. And there are a lot of things that I want to get into today about that. But what's going on with our food supply, and why do prices just continue to go up?
Well, the interesting things that a lot of people aren't aware of is that in the United States in 1959, the food production was capable of feeding the entire world 5 times over. Right now, the United States is dealing with about 35 to 40% imports of food.
Wow.
And a few years ago, it was impossible to invest in commodities, the wheat and
the grain, the corn,
and food items, because legally you couldn't unless you were in the business of dealing in that particular commodity.
Okay.
Now it's been opened up so anyone can invest in futures or in the commodities. In fact, one of the main reasons that your food prices are going up is because of commodities investments being sold to other countries that are starving and allowing Americans to starve. You see, we've got a real situation here. We're talking about food availability, but availability affects food prices, supply and demand.
Right.
Now, something that a lot of people don't realize is for the last 10 years, the graph for the cost of fuel has been almost identical with the graph of the cost of food as it goes up.
Yeah.
So with things like ethanol, which oddly enough was intended to reduce gas prices, now actually pushing gas prices higher. We are putting American food in gas tanks and selling American food to other countries. So food prices are going to continue to go up. It's almost a perfect storm, and it's all centered on food.
Well, I know that you and your company have been very active in terms of helping people come to realize some of these issues. Can you talk a little bit about what you're telling your customers and clients?
Well, very simply, food is the greatest dependency that we have. But what's happening with families is they are getting to the point where groceries are one of the biggest expenses that they have.
Yeah.
So millions of families are being put into a situation where they can't afford food. Now, they might have a hard time paying their car payment or whatever other kind of payments they're making, but when it gets to the point where they can't afford food, then all of a sudden they think, oh, I need food.
Right.
If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that your grocery bill 6 months from now would be $3,000 more than it is right now over the 6 months, what would you do? You'd go buy food that was storable, and so what you would do is freeze the cost right now.
Right.
But more important, you can freeze the availability of food.
So by storable, do you mean that I should go out and buy a bunch of canned goods?
Absolutely not. Canned goods will move you out of your house for the space that it takes. They've lost 30 to 40% of their nutrition by the way they're processed. Also, they're so heavy you couldn't possibly grab them and take off if you wanted to bug out in an emergency. And compared to eFoods, they're significantly more expensive, plus their shelf life is only about a year or two.
Right. You're really making us think here. This is good stuff. And I want to talk a bit more about your company, eFoods Direct. And folks, we have a studio that is literally full of packaged food here, and I want to talk about this. Clue us in a little bit about what it is that you're doing and how you're helping people.
The intention is to feed as many people as we possibly can with good quality food that is also storable. All of the foods will last a long period of time. We tell folks to use them within the first 25 years for best results.
Really? 25 years?
Yeah. So
wow.
The food, as a result of being dehydrated, shrinks down in space. So you can put a whole year's supply for one adult in about the space that a normal clothes washer takes. 20 minutes is all it takes to make any meal. We've got breakfast, we've got lunch, we've got dinner, entrees, soups, snacks, a fruit snack that is absolutely wonderful. I understand you folks have been living on those.
Well, we got into the food a little before the show here, so we had to try it.
Well, and that's what we encourage people to do. We have the best tasting and the best quality food on the planet. We can prove it. We put our money where your mouth is. We will send you 6 free meals for you to try, and if you like it, then you can come back to us and we'll tell you what to do about it.
That's fantastic. I'm looking at some of these packets. We've got almond coconut granola. I'm looking at pancakes here, Italian chicken soup, cheesy chicken rice, vegetable stew with potatoes. I mean, this is substantial. This is much more than I guess I would have envisioned in terms of storable food.
What we're thinking in terms of is not survival. We're thinking in terms of a family actually being able to eat this food on a regular basis, because right now, economically, a huge number of families need to be able to do this. And the elderly, right now, the elderly folks in this country are struggling with nutrition and eating nothing but grilled cheese sandwiches for long periods of time.
Right,
and it's just the nutritional level of our elderly folks that are still trying to maintain their independence and take care of themselves is absolutely terrible. And so what happens is that we've got people that can now take care of themselves, have a variety of food that's nutritious, easy to prepare, and they can have their food for the month shipped and delivered to their doorstep so they don't have to go grocery shopping.
Wow.
The other thing is busy moms. If they want to fix a good soup for their kids, or their kids want to come home after school and fix their own food, and they've got a good nutritious meal rather than potato chips and peanut butter. So for the latchkey kids, college students, single parents, we got folks, you talk about camping and backpacking. We got a little gal that wrote us just the nicest note. They'd bought 4 months' worth of e-foods.
Okay.
And they were going to go camping. Okay. So they went camping, but when they got back, her husband got laid off from work unexpectedly, one of those downsizing things.
Wow.
And her comment was, "You can't believe how comforting it was to actually have the food. We didn't have to spend any of our cash. We had food. We ate better than we had been eating before, and we got through 3 months."
Well, folks, you know what? I want to take a minute here and let you know, if you want to get a free sample from eFoods Direct, this would be 6 meals for free. There is a special toll-free number you can call. It's 1-800-969-0619. Now, when you call today, you'll receive 3 of our most popular recipes to try. Now, each package feeds 2 adults, so that's 6 free meals. Now, your 6 free meals also come in a wonderful planning pack, complete with audio CD and planning guide that really highlights what this delicious food can do for you and your family, all for just a small shipping and handling fee. Here's the number you have to call. It's 1-800-969-0619. I also want to let you know that before we went on the air here, Steve had mentioned that his company, eFoods Direct, is actually producing a newsletter called The Voice of Reason. And this newsletter is packed with all kinds of information and recipes and really new ideas that you can use and take advantage of all of these great foods that eFoods has put together for you. So for the first 100 callers, you're going to get a free subscription to that newsletter. So I encourage you, call now. The number is 1-800-969-0619. I'll give it to you again. It's 1-800-969-0619. Well, this is pretty interesting, isn't it, folks? I bet you never thought about your food in quite this way before. We have Steve Shank in the studio with us. Steve is the co-founder of a company called eFoods Direct. He's also a foremost authority here in terms of our food supply and things that will impact our food supply going forward. If you're just joining us, we're talking about some of the foods that eFoods has developed, quick and easy meals you can put together. All right, well, I would love to kind of dig into these foods. Are they manufactured right here in the U.S.?
Yeah, they are. In fact, we make them ourselves. We package them ourselves. About 20 minutes is all it takes to make any meal. And the only thing that you add in most of the cases is water. You bring water to a boil, you empty the package into the water, and you stir it up. But everything that we put out has no added MSG. Many of them are vegetarian. Almost all of them are cholesterol-free. Almost all of them have no trans fats. We have several foods that will fit with the gluten-free diet.
Okay.
And diabetics. These foods are so balanced that the glycemic rating on these foods is absolutely excellent.
Now, these are all come in a what is this, a Mylar package?
Yes, it's a specific Mylar. Most of the Mylar that you get in the grocery store, you'll be able to see light through it.
Oh,
These you don't.
Okay.
You cannot have light through it, otherwise that will deteriorate the food.
I see.
You can't have oxygen, and for that reason, all of these packages have CO2 infused in them to replace the oxygen. And the other thing is that they're low moisture. Anything that is less than 3% moisture cannot spoil or deteriorate because no chemical reaction can happen. So that's why we tell folks these foods are best if used in the first 25 years.
That's great. I want to taste some of the foods that you have. I asked one of our producers to prepare. I picked out two things here. I picked out creamy potato soup, and I picked out cheesy chicken rice casserole. So here they come.
They're a little hot.
Okay, great. Wow, this looks great. Smells awesome. All right, good. So I'm just going to give these a try. Ooh, this is really good. Wow.
That cheese is a special blend, the recipe for which is as closely guarded as the recipe for Coca-Cola.
I can see why. This tastes
no one can match
really
that
good.
cheese. And
Wow.
the chicken flavoring that we have is one that is proprietary only to the company. You will not be able to, no matter how much you spend, match that roasted chicken flavor that you have.
You can really
in there.
taste it, yeah. And I see the peas and the carrots in here. All right, now I'm going to move on to the potato soup. That's you can taste the potato chunks.
Right.
This is not like powdered astronaut food, or we've all had that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
This is not that at all.
There are a couple of breakthroughs here that we've accomplished. The ability to have real food cooked within 20 minutes, and the ability to have the flavor come through without a bunch of additives, preservatives, and hydrogenated oil. The kosher rating on all these foods means that they're the safest, cleanest food you can get.
And the seasoning and everything that's in here is really, really good.
Yeah?
No, I guess I'm a little surprised because I would think that it would be a.
You'd think you'd have to
it's-
compromise.
Yes.
Well, that's the difference. The reason that we make our own is to have food that is real, and if you're in a survival situation or if you're in a difficult situation, the most important thing that you have is good food, then you can go out and face the rest of the world.
You're absolutely right. This is a lot of food.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to finish this. Is this a typical serving size?
A serving size by industry standards is 1 cup. Food, oddly enough, for just about everybody at some point in their lives, in some way, is an inconvenience. And what we've done is eliminated those inconveniences. Take, for example, seniors. We have a gal whose daughter was helping her shop every week. And so she'd go to the grocery store with her mom, and her daughter would say, "Well, Mom, what do you want to eat this week?" And I don't know. It was a real pain.
Right.
And so they ended up getting 4 months worth of eFoods, and her mom really liked them because she'd put on the water and boil it, and her daughter didn't have to be there. And when it came time to shop that first week, she says, no, I'm good, Second week, I'm good, And, well, Mom, what are you eating? Well, I had cheesy chicken rice casserole last night, and for breakfast I had the oatmeal, and boy, that oatmeal really is good with the little flavor sticks and everything. Her mom was actually excited about the fact that she was taking care of herself and didn't have to grocery shop.
Yeah. Wow.
And so this will solve problems like you would not believe. You can serve the best food on the planet. You can save the best food on the planet, and you can share with others that you care about. You have the solution, and if you have the solution, there is no problem. So, do you want independence? No problem.
That makes a lot of sense. And folks, again, I want to remind you that if you want to get a free sample of 6 meals from eFoods Direct, there is a special toll-free number they've set up for you today. It's 1-800-969-0619. Again, this will get you 6 meals that you can try. All you have to do is cover a small fee for shipping and processing. Again, you got to try these. These are really fantastic, and I think you'll be just as surprised as I was. eFoods Direct is a great way for you to provide your family and yourself with foods that are very nutritious, that taste great, and these are the kinds of meals you eat every single day. But they are so easy and convenient to make. If you can boil water, time it for 20 minutes, you can make these great tasting meals. And this is not only for peace of mind and emergencies. This is, I can think of a lot of different ways to use this, whether you work late, this is something you could grab and have right away. If you have kids that are coming home from school, they're hungry, rather than reaching for the potato chips and the soda, this would be something that they could absolutely do. If you're just cooking for one, what a big time saver. So again, I encourage you, take advantage of this very special offer. You can try 6 meals absolutely free. All you have to do is cover a small fee for shipping and processing. The number to call is 1-800-969-0619. And I also want to remind you that for the first 100 callers, so I want you to call right away here, the first 100 callers are also going to get a free subscription to a newsletter that eFoods puts together. It's called The Voice of Reason. This is going to give you ongoing information, recipes that you can use, and new ideas, new things to be aware of as it relates to your food supply. So this is a really, really great offer. The number to call is 1-800-969-0619. When you call today, you're going to receive 3 of our most popular recipes to try. Now, each package feeds 2 adults, so that's a total of 6 free meals. Also, your 6 free meals come in a wonderful planning pack, complete with an audio CD and planning guide that highlights what this delicious food can do for you and your family, all for just a small shipping and handling fee. The number to call is 1-800-969-0619. I'll give it to you again. It's 1-800-969-0619. Well, if you're just joining us, we've been talking with Steve Shank. Steve is the co-founder of a company called eFoods Direct. He's also the foremost authority on our food supply and has been talking about things that we should be aware of. And again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about some of the foods that eFoods has developed. Steve, I want to just recap for a couple minutes here. This is food that anybody can prepare just by boiling water, right?
That's right. You just boil water and add the ingredients. Everything is in the package. The concept that we're working with eFoods is to have food available that people can eat right now and enjoy, and is storable to put aside as virtually as a savings account and to share with those that they care about and love the most.
That makes a lot of sense.
So people literally can use the food to feed their families better. I mean, we've got one fellow that actually sends his college son a monthly care package, a 4-week care package.
What a great idea.
He goes down and in the dorm there, they've got some place
Yeah.
that they can cook some of their own stuff.
Yeah.
Goes down, fixes his own meals. And a lot of times he's not eating the dorm food because that compared to this is just absolutely pathetic. And so the kid is happy as a hog in a peach orchard, and his dad has the food thing solved, and it's infinitely less expensive.
Well, Steve, you keep talking about this saving you money. I mean, how much does this cost?
A little less than $1 a serving. It's extremely reasonable. What we tell folks is to use the 6 free meal planning pack to figure out how many servings make up a meal for each member of the family. For example, a 16-year-old daughter is probably going to eat considerably less than her dad. Just figure the total number of 1-cup servings your family eats at each meal, and then you'll know how many servings it takes to feed your family each day.
Well, again, folks, I want to remind you, if you want to try a free sample from eFoods Direct, you will get 6 meals. All you have to do is call this special toll-free number. Please write it down, give them a call. It's 1-800-969-0619. Remember, when you call today, you're going to receive 3 of our most popular recipes to try. Now, each package feeds 2 adults, so that's a total of 6 free meals. Your 6 free meals also come in a wonderful planning pack, complete with audio CD and planning guide that highlights what this delicious food can do for you and your family, all for just a small shipping and handling fee. The number is 1-800-969-0619. And for the first 100 callers that call in, you're also going to get a free subscription to a newsletter that eFoods Direct is offering. So here's the number again. You ready? It's 1-800-969-0619. I'll give it to you again. It's 1-800-969-0619. Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I am certainly learning a tremendous amount today in terms of our food supply, the things that we need to be aware of, what eFoods Direct has been able to put together and do for us. You know, I think in the end, Steve, it seems to me it comes down to peace of mind. Peace of mind in terms of not having to worry about where your next meal is coming from. Peace of mind in not having to worry about whether you're able to adequately take care of your children or your parents or someone that you love.
You have to understand, Chris, that this is something that people used to do just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, we've now arrived at that just in case. The perfect storm we mentioned earlier is right here upon us. We've got extreme weather. We've had the worst American drought in 50 years. We've got our food being sold for profit right out of the mouths of our children. And not only that, we've sold off our livestock, including our brood herds, which means we can't grow future herds. And a major portion of our food crop capacity is going into our gas tanks.
Wow, Steve, what's the solution? I mean, will FEMA step in here like they do in disasters and provide the food we all need when there's not enough and we can't afford it?
Chris, we've seen in every single emergency that FEMA has no food to bring in. In fact, with the Sandy hurricane disaster, now this is a storm, there were signs posted that FEMA was closed for bad weather. The government has absolutely no food. The answer is very simple. It's up to every family and individual to make sure that they have a supply of long-term storable food. eFoods Direct is the smart solution. You can customize how much food you need for you and your family, and it's delivered right to your door. It costs less than $1 per serving, and it's the best food on the planet.
All right, but what if someone says, I don't have the extra money right now to buy storable food?
If you knew right now, Chris, that in 6 months paying for and getting food would be the only thing you'd be concerned with, how would you spend your money right now? Hey, let's talk about insurance. You have health insurance. You have insurance on your home. You have insurance on your car. In fact, you insure every single part of your life where a loss could cause you serious problems. But what's your greatest dependency, Chris? It's food, right? So why don't you have food insurance? In times like we're in, you have to decide what your priorities are and how important food insurance is. And the really neat thing is that the way you insure your food is to actually have storable food in your possession. But here's the main point. The cost of your food insurance will never be lower than it is right now today.
We have people that have saved their houses because they didn't have to buy the food and they could put the money on their mortgage to keep it from being foreclosed.
Wow.
They've saved their cars. This is serious economics,
Right.
where you take one of the three biggest expenses, create a savings account in it, and as a result, it protects the rest of your livelihood. This is serious business. This is your life. So when you think about your security, your independence, food is more basic than money.
Well, in the end, you're right. It comes down to being able to sustain yourself. And unfortunately, we are about out of time, Steve. So any final thoughts that you want to share with our listeners today?
What we've covered here is how food and the ability to sustain yourself enables people to be totally fearless for an uncertain future. The problem is the dog of economic failure is biting millions of families with their jobs, millions of families with their homes, millions of families with disasters. So what we'd suggest is that people do what we're doing. We're freezing the price and freezing the availability so that we can continue to provide these foods for you and your families. It really is a necessity to maintain the reason that our forefathers came here to this country. If we can feed our families, if we can take care of ourselves, then we truly are Americans.
I think that's great advice. And Steve, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, folks, look, this is your last opportunity to take advantage of a really, really special offer. Again, when you call right now, you're going to get a free sample of 6 meals from eFoods Direct. This is the special toll-free number you need to call. I want you to write it down. It's 1-800-969-0619. All you have to do is cover a small amount for shipping and processing. You get to try these delicious, nutritious meals and see what we're talking about today. Remember, when you call today, you're going to receive 3 of our most popular recipes to try. Now, each package feeds 2 adults, so that's a total of 6 free meals. Your 6 free meals also come in a wonderful planning pack, complete with audio CD and planning guide that highlights what this delicious food can do for you and your family, all for just a small shipping and handling fee. So again, the number to call is 1-800-969-0619. I also want to remind you that for the first 100 callers, you're also going to receive a free subscription to a newsletter, which is called The Voice of Reason. This is put together by eFoods Direct. This is going to give you additional information, as well as some recipes and some unique ways that you can utilize the foods that eFoods Direct is offering you. Again, be one of the first 100 callers. You're going to get that in addition to the free sample of 6 meals. So the number to call is 1-800-969-0619. Remember, folks, eFoods Direct has delicious foods that you can use every day for outdoor fun and recreation or for emergency preparedness. Plus, eFoods Direct offers you and your family a secure savings account of food. So again, the number to call is 1-800-969-0619. I'll give it to you one more time. It's 1-800-969-0619. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in next week for another great show. I'm Chris McKay. Have a great day, everybody.